The pyramids of Egypt are some of the most recognizable monuments on Earth, but why did the ancient Egyptians go to such extreme lengths to build them? Today, we're uncovering the real reasons behind these ancient wonders. Spoiler alert, it wasn't aliens. When you think of ancient Egypt, chances are the first image that pops into your head is a pyramid. These massive structures have become the ultimate symbol of Egyptian civilization. But here's the thing, building just one of these monuments was an absolutely insane undertaking. We're talking about 10,000 workers laboring for more than 30 years on a single pyramid. So what could possibly motivate an entire civilization to invest that much time, effort, and resources into these structures? Let's start with the basics. Egyptian pyramids are massive tombs constructed during the Old and Middle Kingdom periods, roughly between 2700 BCE and 1700 BCE. That's a span of about 1,000 years where pyramid building was the ultimate architectural flex for Egyptian rulers. To date, archaeologists have discovered around 138 pyramids of different sizes scattered across Egypt. Most of them were built from limestone, though the latest one, the Amos Pyramid, was made from sand and rubble with just a limestone casing. Spoiler, that one didn't hold up too well. Today it's basically just a pile of rubble, but the real stars of the show are the pyramids of Giza. Built during the 4th dynasty, these 3 pyramids are the most famous: the Great Pyramid of Khufu, the Pyramid of Khafre, and the Pyramid of Menkaure. The Great Pyramid of Khufu was the tallest man-made structure in the world for more than 3,800 years. Think about that. For nearly 4 millennia, nothing humans built came close to matching it. Even today, we haven't fully explored everything inside this pyramid. The known inner structure includes chambers, passages, and shafts that still puzzle archaeologists and architects. These structures continue to fascinate people from all over the world. They're a mystery, an engineering marvel, and a testament to what humans can achieve when they're really committed to something. But that brings us back to our original question: why build them in the first place? And here's where things get interesting. The main reason the ancient Egyptians built pyramids comes down to their beliefs about the afterlife. For the Egyptians, life on Earth wasn't the main event. It was just the warm-up act. Death wasn't an ending. It was a transition to something far more important: eternal life in the afterlife. When someone died, their soul, called the Ba, would begin a journey to the afterlife. But this wasn't some easy stroll through the pearly gates. The journey was difficult and dangerous. The soul had to pass through various gates and doors, each one guarded by supernatural beings. We're talking more than 1,000 guardians here. The soul had to answer questions, know the right passwords, and basically pass an afterlife exam that made the SATs look like a joke. To prepare for this journey, every ancient Egyptian had to do serious homework while they were still alive. They had to learn the instructions for navigating the afterlife, and those instructions were written down in texts we now call the Book of the Dead. But here's the thing: pharaohs got special treatment. A pharaoh wasn't just any dead person. He was considered the son of the god Ra, which meant his journey to the afterlife was different from everyone else's. When a pharaoh died, Egyptians believed he would ascend to heaven on sunbeams and take his place among the gods. The pyramid's shape was specifically designed to help with this. The sloped sides were thought to represent sunbeams frozen in stone, creating a kind of stairway to heaven for the dead king. Inside the pyramids, the walls and sarcophagi were covered with texts, instructions and spells to guide the pharaoh's soul through the afterlife. These pyramid texts date back to around 2,400 to 2,300 BCE, and they were found starting from the end of the 5th dynasty all the way into the 8th dynasty. These weren't just random writings. They were a detailed roadmap for the soul's journey, making sure the pharaoh could reunite with his divine father Ra and live eternally among the gods. And the pyramid had to be huge. Why? Because the pharaoh needed to bring stuff with him. Ancient Egyptians believed you could take it with you, literally. The tomb had to be large enough to hold everything the pharaoh would need in the afterlife: food, furniture, treasures, even boats. If you were going to spend eternity in paradise, you wanted to make sure you had all your favorite things with you. So if religious beliefs were the spiritual reason for building pyramids, what about the social reasons? Ancient Egyptian society was organized like a pyramid. At the very top was the pharaoh, seen as the living embodiment of the gods on earth. Below him were priests, nobles, scribes, craftsmen, farmers, and so on. The pharaoh wasn't just a political leader. He was the mediator between the gods and the people. The gods chose him to rule, and in return, he was responsible for maintaining order and ensuring the gods remained happy. This meant that honoring the pharaoh, both in life and in death, was in everyone's best interest. If the pharaoh was happy, the gods were happy. If the gods were happy, the Nile would flood at the right time. crops would grow, and Egypt would prosper. It was a cosmic deal that everyone had a stake in maintaining. Building a pyramid wasn't just about giving the pharaoh a nice tomb. It was about showing respect to the gods themselves and ensuring the continued well-being of Egyptian society. The pyramid was a symbol of the pharaoh's power and divine connection, and by extension, it was a symbol of Egypt's place in the cosmic order. But here's where we need to bust a major myth. You've probably seen movies where thousands of enslaved people are whipped and forced to drag massive stones across the desert to build these pyramids. It's a popular image in films and mass culture, but here's the truth. It's completely fictional. Archaeological evidence tells us a very different story. Scholars have discovered tombs more than 4,000 years old near the Great Pyramids of Giza that belonged to the workers who built them. These tombs contained the skeletons of pyramid builders along with jars of beer and bread, provisions for their own journey to the afterlife. Think about that for a second. These workers were given the honor of being buried in the shadow of the sacred pyramids they helped construct. Would enslaved people receive that kind of treatment? Absolutely not. The workers who built the pyramids were highly skilled artisans, not slaves. Archaeological research shows that the workers' villages near the pyramids were well organized and well maintained. The workers were well fed, provided with medical care, and treated with respect. They weren't forced to work under the threat of violence. They chose to participate in the construction because they believed it would guarantee the well-being of their society. Here's how they saw it. As people took care of the pharaohs by building pyramids, the gods would take care of the people. It was a mutual arrangement, a social contract between the living and the divine. Building a pyramid was an act of loyalty, faith, and civic duty. It was their way of contributing to something greater than themselves. And let's be honest, it worked. These structures have lasted for thousands of years, inspiring awe and wonder in everyone who sees them. The ancient Egyptians created something that transcended their own lifetimes, and they did it not through oppression, but through shared belief and collective effort. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.